and there is just this huge mold spot. Lawyers. You know, I know that you're not supposed to discriminate against people for a whole plethora of things, but in the roofing industry, if you are smart, you will discriminate against someone based on their job. And what I have learned over the years of being in the roofing industry is I personally, like when I'm selling a project, because like when I sell a project, I have to also manage it. I don't want to do a roof for an attorney, and I don't want to do a roof for an engineer. The reason for those is that attorneys are typically, they're like children dealing with them. It's literally like doing a roof for a rich child. It's very frustrating. And they get really weird about paying you on time and things like that because it's like they know they can get away with certain stuff. They're just frustrating to deal with. And then engineers, you don't want to work with them because they think that every single thing on the roof is supposed to be exactly perfect. And there's a huge difference between 100% functional and 100%, I guess, aesthetic, right? And so, and aesthetics is really one of those things kind of like artwork. Each person has their own idea of what a good roof install looks like. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that like we would ever install a roof that didn't look aesthetically pleasing, but when there's a piece of drip edge 2.5 stories in the air and you're saying, hey, instead of a cut right there, I want you to have those ends mitered. Like, anyway, I just, everybody else can do what they want, but the first thing I'll do when I'm working with somebody is I'm going to figure out what they do for a living. And again, anything outside of that, I don't care what the other circumstances are, but as long as your money's green and you're not an attorney, not an engineer, I'll work with you. But back in the day, when I had not been in the roof industry too long, I did a project for an attorney, and he paid his bill somewhat on time. I think it was a net 30 term, and he paid it at the end of day 29, so typical attorney fashion. And so we had gone through some changes at the company where management had gotten rid of one of the domains. There were some issues, and they had bought a new domain. They had all the emails from the old domain forwarded to the new emails for the new domain, which makes sense. But as time went on, they lost that other old domain, so any old emails associated with that, we're not no longer getting those emails anymore. And so apparently there had been a leak in the roof of this attorney's house, and he had been emailing my old email nonstop, emailing, and he had emailed dozens of times, all kinds of things saying, you need to get out here, this is ridiculous, my roof's leaking. Now, this attorney apparently didn't have the brains to pick up his phone and call me and say, hey, my roof's leaking. He didn't have the brains to look up the company name online and give us a call. He didn't do anything. He just kept emailing the same email. I guess he gets paid to send emails for a living or something. I don't know what the deal is. And so the office calls me. I'm out on a job somewhere. Office calls me and says, hey, we just got a certified packet sent to the office. And it's got like a few dozen pages with dozens of emails that's been sent to my old email that hasn't been in service for like a year or two. And this attorney is saying this is our last opportunity to rectify the damage inside of his house before he sues the company. So I pick up the phone and I call the guy and I'm like, hey, the office just got this. And of course he's super hostile with me. And I say, hey, look. Calm down, dude. I was like, I did not know about this. I explained the domain situation to him. And of course, he didn't calm down at all. I said, look, I'll come out there tomorrow. Let's take a look, kind of see what we've got going on. So I show up to the house, and he's not actually in the house. He's parked on the side of the house, right? So I get out. He gets out. I said, hey, you want to go inside and take a look? And he said, oh, well, I need to see what the tenants and something about the tenants. I said, well, is it not your house still? And he's like, oh, well, it's still my house, but I rent it out now. I said, okay, that's fine. A lot of people do that in Atlanta. I was like, that's fine. I guess he's making so much money as an attorney that he's buying other houses now. I was like, that's great. So we go inside. And so I go to because I've been in the house before because I helped him with the house. I was like, I go up the stairs. Like, oh no, the leak's not upstairs. And anyone who's not a roofer, just frame of reference. If you have a 2-story house and there's a roof leak, but the water's only coming in on the 1st story and not the 2nd story, it's probably not the roof. But so we go out to the garage. And there is just this huge mold spot, just big mold strip. Water had been leaking. You could tell they had buckets and stuff there. And turns out the bathroom that was above the garage, where the bathroom, I guess the bathroom, the sink was, and the tub and the toilet and all that stuff, where the seals were, right around where the tub was, there was a leak by the seal. Or I don't know if it was in the pan or what the deal was. But the water was coming in. So every time they used that shower or that tub, the leak got worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I explained this to him. And then he obviously felt really, really dumb. He apologized for being such a buffoon about the whole situation. And I gave him my information to some of my friends that could help him with the mold abatement and stuff like that. But it just goes to show you that just because you can make a good amount of money on a certain project, one thing that I learned a long time ago is not all money is good money. So if you're working on a project and they're an attorney or they are an engineer, just might want to think twice. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one.